worthy. But don't think that even if that product doesn't succeed or service doesn't succeed, you have added value by encouraging some young person or a farmer or an artisan or elderly person in feeling that his or her ideas matter. And that's the message we must create in our society, that ideas matter. When they get translated into practice and product, they matter even more. When they get available to people who can use them, they matter even more. So accessibility, affordability, and availability, 3 elements of supply chain. Accessibility, affordability, and availability. There's no point in product being accessible and affordable, but not available. If there's a stock out in the primary health center for a cheap drug, what will it do? What consequence it has? No benefits. So it must be available at the grassroots level. It must be accessible, and it must be affordable. All the 3 conditions must be met. So there is no doubt in what you're saying that unless products are converted, taken to value chain, they're of no consequence. Products by themselves don't help, though they can help at one level if our textbooks, if our educational content can include these examples that I'm talking about, and tons of examples that we have. Then children who study will become more curious. So I have 1 more minute. Anybody else who has an idea? Yes, please. Lady there. She's there.
Good afternoon, sir. I really appreciated what you said about innovative, dynamic ideas driving public policy, but I feel that in our country, a lot of ideas are culturally restricted because of beliefs that we have that are logically obsolete but are still very much prevalent. For instance, in Karnataka, where I come from, for 4 years, they've been trying to start a rape crisis intervention center, but the government is just not allowing it because they don't think that rape should be something that's spoken about publicly. So as far as innovating ideas comes, what are your views on overcoming all the cultural barriers that come in the way?
2 things. 1, ignore the state, ignore the market, ignore anybody who comes in your way. Just ignore them. Don't spend too much time in fighting them because that takes away too much energy. I would rather ignore. If I were in your place, I will ignore them, forgive them, and start with my effort. I'm sure if what we are doing is meaningful, it takes time. It took me 25 years, sometime more than that. But there are people in this country who appreciate a good idea. Let me tell you that. This country has a very positive culture. It somehow neglects things for long. It takes long time to evaluate them. Unfortunately, that's true. When it comes to women's ideas and ideas for and from women, even more important that we pay more attention. To give an example, and there's not much time, so I must close. This is the last example. 60% women are anemic in our country. Only 20% are belonging to poor family. So there's no reason why so many women should be anemic. What is the problem? The problem is that we did away with one of the time-tested practice in our society, in our families, which was to cook at least 1 curry or vegetable at least once a week in iron vessel. और लोहे की कड़छी यूज़ करते हैं छौंक लगाने के लिए, लेडल ऑफ मेड ऑफ आयरन, ठीक है ना, उसको छौंक लगाकर माँ उसको दाल में डाल देती. So when you put the ladle, hot ladle, in dal or curry, it used to get enough iron. Now what happened? Iron, enough content of iron. So a student from Gulf in Canada, in Cambodia, made a 126-gram cast iron fish, gave it to poor families. Please put in the curry whatever you cook, because they don't have the tradition of using iron vessels. And for family of 5, for 5 years, this small fish provides enough iron. In our country, we have this solution. There's no reason women should suffer, right? There's no reason women should suffer, not even the poor, even the less poor ones. But how do we disseminate this idea? इसमें किसी corporation को profit तो नहीं मिलेगा. Nobody will make profit out of it. So we need to use our channels that we have and make such public domain, open source solutions accessible to a large number of people. Please, for God's sake, just go ahead and do whatever you are doing. It's very important. What government feels has no consequence. I don't think we should worry about that. The people who are affected by it, they will care about what you're doing, and they will respect what you do. Thank you so much.
Sir, I have to say something, sir, last. Because
this is permission.
I have taken permission. Okay. So, you were saying about the iron, and I work with children, and I have faced a similar issue. Almost all of them, all the girls especially, they were having this issue. 1 week, they gave them thoda sa gud, which is like our practice.
Correct.
1 week, their level was fine. So, now coming back to the business idea, I don't know if somebody could help. Like Kinder Joy we are having, just make some candy out of it. My women are already in village, they are working on this idea, providing them with a playful manner. They can eat the good and they can really get away with this. So I just thought
I'm only requesting, you are absolutely right, because good is made in an iron vessel, big pots. So it collects iron from there, plus whatever little that plants have. But more it comes from the vessel in which it is cooked. So what I'm suggesting is an iron ladle or an iron kadhai, which is not too costly. A cast iron kadhai doesn't cost too much. Please advise them all to do that. One teacher, what he did in Bharuch, he found children were malnourished. 43% children are malnourished in Gujarat. 43%, okay? Not a small number. So what did he do? He asked the children to bring one handful of grains from their home. Everybody brought one handful of grains. He sprouted them, fed it back to children. Malnourishment went away. So, there are solutions which are available. The last example, whether you wash vegetables after cutting or you cut the vegetable after washing, makes all the difference to free amino acids in the vegetable. Aapka nutrition, if you have spent 2 rupees or 3 rupees on vegetable and you cut them and then wash them, you got value only of 50 paisa. A lot of nutrition went away. With the water, you washed it away. So there are lots of such practices which don't cost a penny. But for disseminating them in a creative and interesting manner, we need to create multimedia solutions, on small films on the phone, maybe public address system, maybe news schools. So what you're doing is very useful. I mean, I strongly compliment what you're doing. But I'm saying take multiple approaches. Those who can't afford jaggery, let them cook in iron. But jaggery, of course, it has many more minerals. It is good not only for iron. It has many more minerals. So therefore, that is better solution than just using iron. But depend. Don't make best the enemy of better.